Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Welcome to our worship service. Let's settle into our spaces. Take a deep breath in and out. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe we are all connected in this world, and we value the worth and dignity of each and every person. We pull on the wisdom of many sources to teach us, guide us, and help us understand this world. As we prepare our hearts for worship, let us remember our connections through our collective chalice lighting words. Please join me. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek and seek to share. Now, let's take a moment to acknowledge our connection to those whose land we occupy.
We gather on the homeland of the Pisquosa, where they lived for generations upon generations and were the stewards of this land. The Pisquosa people still live here.
Under the 1855 Yakima Treaty and the Cession Agreement of 1893, the Pisquosa retained 36 square miles of this homeland, on which their traditional hunting, fishing, and gathering rights were guaranteed.
For almost 2 centuries, the United States government has broken its treaty obligations. The rights of the Pisquosa were stolen by the government through fraudulent surveys, indifference, and intentional violations.
Much of the Pisquosa land was transferred to colonists and corporations. None of the remaining land was preserved for the Pisquosa. Hunting, fishing, and gathering rights were denied.
In 2010, the fishing rights of the Pisquosa were finally confirmed through litigation.
The government still refuses to acknowledge their land rights.
The Pisquosa continue their traditions and seek to have all their rights recognized.
Today is our annual Flower Communion Sunday. We celebrate this day the unique bouquet of our congregation and all those who make it possible to exist. We honor the history of the Flower Communion service by retelling the story of Reverend Dr. Norbert Chopik and its origins. Our opening words are from Michael D. Vernon Boblet. Blessed be the flower that triumphs at last. Over the snows, over the centuries, over the heavy feet of cattle and soldiers, treading down the fragile places of earth. Blessed be the flower that triumphs at last, over the tangled branches, over the weathered stem, over the tearing thorns of roses and of barbed wire. Blessed be the flower that triumphs at last, even over the hand that gathers it, cuts it off from life, from roots from the memory and taste of iron and tears in the soil. Blessed be the flower that triumphs at last over the closed rooms that are not its home, over the efforts to domesticate its wild truth, over the vain words of priests and poets. Blessed be the flower that triumphs at last over us, over past and futures, over words and silences, over deaths and lives, placing them all in their proper place, restoring to all things their joyful smallness. Blessed be the flower that triumphs at last. Come, let us worship together. Please raise your voices in spirit in our opening hymn, I Know This Rose Will Open. During our flower communion service, we take time to honor our high school seniors who are graduating. This year we have two seniors, Maddie Bromley and Connor Shinham. Our RE director, Connor Dolan, recorded these videos to share with you.
Okay, first question. What do you think future youth groups should prioritize?
I feel like they should prioritize just the community of just youth that the youth group brings together. There's already a really strong foundation there of them, of community among them, and just working to foster that community, especially in those youth, I feel would just greatly benefit just not only the youth, but the church as a whole. Because more connected the youth are to each other, the more connected they're going to be to the church as a whole.
What are some positive memories of your time at Cuff?
I really liked the people there. They were almost always just really sweet and just really accepting. I gotta say, I liked all the times I got to play violin in front of the congregation, and a lot of the youth services that we led. Being able to say my parts in the sermons, uh, those are some of my favorite things I've just ever said in general.
From your perspective, what unique benefit does Cuff provide the Valley?
Cuff provides to the Valley, in my eyes, just a lot of advocacy for people who need it. I've seen a lot of work done by the church just for people in places who need it. Mine goes back to when there was a small little quote unquote task force of us who went and remodeled the room over in the Bruce Hotel to make it a children's room, complete with some chalkboard paint and everything. And that was just a really nice experience and showed me a lot of what good the church does for the community as a whole.
Do you have any reflective notes on the Valley as a whole?
By and large, this is, you definitely get the sense of community here. It's by no means a small town, but there's the small city, just two sides of the small city. There's definitely a sense of community coming together for, especially like Apple Blossom. That's where you definitely feel that community in the Valley. And just a lot of those local events. Very strong theater in the Valley.
Any reflective notes for your time spent in high school?
There were some doors that I closed and some bridges I burnt that were probably premature, and judgments I made that didn't need to be made in that way, that I would probably do differently if I had the chance to go back and redo that. But it's helped me grow as a person, and high school has helped me grow as a person in a way that no other thing has. I feel like I'm a kinder person for it at the end of the day.
What, since it's all behind you now, or soon to be, what realizations, what feelings, what sentiments, what ideas have come up?
What I'm feeling right now in regards to moving on to the next part of my life after I complete high school, excitement. That's a big one. I've always had grandiose dreams of being that college kid, cool kid on campus. That's mixed with some sadness, of course, leaving behind friends who I've known for half my life now, give or take. There's always going to be that bit of uncertainty in there too. But beneath that uncertainty, there's pride. I'm proud of myself for having gotten this far. That I'm walking across that stage with my diploma and maybe giving her speech.
Let us raise our hands in spirit of blessing to send our love, our gratitude, and our appreciation to these wonderful young adults. May you be blessed with challenges you can overcome, blessed with joy you fully celebrate, and blessed with the comfort you are never alone. Amen. Throughout the service today, we will have pictures of flowers along with blessings sent in by members and friends of Cascade UU. The music is from our hymnal, De Colores, and is played by Julie Smith. Please enjoy the first collection of these images and blessings.
The Unitarian Universalist Flower Communion service, which we are about to celebrate, was originated in 1923 by Dr. Norbert Čapek, founder of the modern Unitarian movement in Czechoslovakia. On the last Sunday before the summer recess of the Unitarian Church in Prague, all the children and adults participated in this colorful ritual, which gives concrete expression to the humanity-affirming principles of our liberal faith. When the Nazis took control of Prague in 1940, they found Dr. Čapek's gospel of the inherent worth and beauty of every human person to be, as Nazi court records show, quote, too dangerous to the Reich for him to be allowed to live, end quote. Dr. Čapek was sent to Dachau, where he was killed the next year during a Nazi medical experiment. This gentleman suffered a cruel death, but his message of human hope and decency lives on through his flower communion, which is widely celebrated today. It is a noble and meaning-filled ritual that we are about to recreate. I invite you into a time of meditation. Take a deep breath in and out. Relax your shoulders. Settle into your space. Our meditation words are from Lynn Unger. What a gathering! The purple tongues of iris licking out at spikes of lupin, the orange crepe skirts of poppies lifting over buttercup and daisy. Who can be grim in the face of such abundance? There is nothing to compare, no need for beauty to compete. The voluptuous rhododendron and the plain grass are equally filled with themselves, equally declare the miracles of color and form. This is what community looks like, this vibrant jostle, stem by stem, declaring the marvelous joining. This is the face of communion, the incarnation once more gracefully resurrected from winter. Hold these things together in your sight. Purple, crimson, magenta, blue. You will be feasting on this long after the flowers are gone.
My homily will be framed by words from Reverend Amy Zucker Morgenstern's Flower Communion Blessing. Quote, "Each of us is a flower with a delicate beauty uniquely our own. We may be like sunflowers turning always toward the light. May our lives bloom like the flowers." End quote. This past year, we have had plenty of opportunities to be like sunflowers and turn towards the light. We found ways to connect with each other through technology. We created groups to discuss books and issues or just to chat. We were inspired by musicians and poets. We learned the importance of our voices and our vote. We learned to value the voices of Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Each of us have been unique in how we sought out the light and in how it healed or scorched us. We were encouraged by Amanda Gorman to be the light, and some of us have been that light for others. Wherever you encountered that uniqueness, let it settle into your being, and may it inspire you to bloom. Quote, "We may be like night blooming Sirius, only displaying our fragrant petals when it is dark and we think no one can see. May our lives bloom like the flowers." End quote. This past year was hard for those of us who struggle with our mental health. There were and continue to be times of loneliness and separation. Your struggle was not alone and not unseen. This past year may have also provided some with rest and respite needed to tend the care of their mental health. Without the demands of going everywhere, some found space to be. May you find ways to heal and take with you which you have learned that you need for yourself. May it become part of your practice going forward, and may it help you bloom fully. Quote, "We may be hothouse flowers far from our native lands, cautiously tended within a harsh and unfamiliar climate. May our lives bloom like the flowers." End quote. This past year has been a record year for people to learn adaptive strategies. Parents have struggled with working at home and managing their children's education. Children and youth have struggled with learning in the environments created for them online and in the different classroom models. Churches have learned to worship in new ways as well as create communities from a distance. Artists were challenged to provide different mediums through digital platforms. Grandparents and senior citizens learned technology to connect with each other and their families. In some way, shape, or form, everyone around the world had to adapt to a new way of life and being. All of us were in a different and unfamiliar climate. May we remember the ways in which we were able to be flexible and adaptive. May we remember how we nurtured each other in these times. May it be known in our souls, and may it allow us to bloom. Quote, "We may be gray-headed like dandelions, eager to launch the new generations with the first strong gust of wind. Past our own bright youth, but ready to pass our wisdom on in precious gossamer-carried seeds. May our lives bloom like flowers." End quote. We learned from the wisdom of our ancestors as well as those in our congregation this past year. When some have had to step back, others have stepped forward to share. Our leadership and staff have done a remarkable job in keeping the congregation together through this difficult time. And it's through all of their wisdom, we carry gratitude for the seeds they have distributed and will bloom into our future. Quote, "Some of us sometimes sprung up overnight and fade in the hot glare. May our lives bloom like the flowers." End quote. We have had task force to study racial justice, to create COVID-19 guidelines, to search for an interim minister, to start the process to become a green sanctuary. A task force is defined as a group that assembles for a limited period of time to help advise the leadership and congregation on important issues. Each of these groups contribute to the life and blossoming of Cascade UU. And none of them faded in the hot glare of the sun. Instead, many came to fruition or will come to fruition. Again, gratitude for the work and time dedicated from these teams. Quote, "Some of us sometimes are roses, slowly assembling petal after tightly wrapped petal and revealing our full glory only when everything is in place. May our lives bloom like flowers," end quote. Our children and youth have struggled this year, and many have found new ways of being, new ways of revealing themselves. Some, without the pressure of peers, found new hobbies. Some found ownership over their learning. Families were able to relearn how to exist together and how to give each other space. New ways of communicating and expressing ourselves were important. May these new ways of assembling find places to anchor within our lives and allow for new possibilities of blooming. Quote, "Sometimes we are roadside weeds, loveliness bursting improbably from the dust and debris. May our lives bloom like the flowers," end quote. During this time, a team of volunteers has continued to maintain our buildings. There have been cleanup days, maintenance of our grounds, cleaning up and restoring of the Blue House. In addition, the sprucing up of our doors, as well as our free food pantry. Each of these acts of service have brought a loveliness to our congregation. May these acts continue to help us find ways to burst through dust and debris and bring about new life. Quote, "May we offer our beauty with the simplicity of flowers, expecting no recognition, hoping for nothing, giving out of what we are, and knowing it is enough," end quote. Although we have been separated this year, the beauty of this congregation has been present. I witnessed so many of you caring for each other, from inviting people who were unable to connect to the internet over to your homes to be able to watch services, to our pastoral care team reaching out over and over and over, week after week after week, through text and emails and phone calls to connect with you, to assisting people with their technology, to walking with those who needed a connection, and so many other multitude ways of caring. May this spirit of caring, of love, and of connection continue to bloom in this congregation for many years to come. May Cuff bloom like the flowers. Please enjoy our final video of flowers and blessings. This prayer was written by Reverend Dr. Norbert Chapek for the first flower communion service and is one we have used each year. Let us pray. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on thy messengers of fellowship and human love. May they remind us amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts to be one in desire and infection. May they remind us also of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of thy most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in the world. May these flowers be messengers of thanks. Amen. Please raise your spirit and voice for our closing hymn, Inch by Inch.
Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, we are made of dreams and bones. Need a spot to call my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music of the land. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below till the rain comes tumbling down. Plant your rows straight and long, temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth will keep you strong if you give her love and care. Old crow watching from a tree has its hungry eye on me. In my garden I'm as free as that feathered thief up there. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below till the rain comes tumbling down. Rain comes tumbling down till the rain comes tumbling down.
Our benediction words are from Rumi. There are as many ways of loving as there are people, and that wildflower variety is the great beauty of this dimension of existence. Love be with you. Please join in our collective chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please raise your hands in the spirit of connection for our closing song.
Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. Sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power